I'm back. About Town Deb with Bill Brown. 2 shows in a row, my friend.
Oh, happy to be here.
It was so much fun last week. And I'm really excited because your wisdom, I just love your wisdom.
Whoa.
Author, storyteller, Bill Brown. It's, the year's ending. It's the very last week of the year. So we're going to reminisce about what it was like when we were kids and something about New Year's and where we're going forward and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned because we might be sharing a little bit of tidbits about ourselves.
Happy New Year.
In Nevada near the silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community. Bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
And welcome back to
Thank you.
City
Nice
Talk.
to be here.
About Town Deb. I got Bill Brown in the house.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row.
It's fun.
It's fun. And I love ending my year with you.
Well, same here. I mean, we've known each other. How many years?
I don't know, a long time. Yeah. All I know is I've learned a lot from you, and you're a mentor to so many people in our community.
Oh, that's very nice.
And I don't know, I just remember when I was first starting this, you were so positive and gave me so much confidence. And now I get to sit with you. And it's like, whoa, I feel like it's a big deal. So I'm very honored to end the year off with you by my side. And
can you see me blushing? Christian,
I think he's blushing a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
But I also want to take the time to thank the sponsors this whole year and years past. Crystal Basin, Sellers. I'm real excited because we have a new distributor that we're going to be sharing next week. And without, Design on Edge, who does all my branding. And Courtney was the one who said, hey, Deb, you need a wine label. You do a lot in the wine country. And I went to Mike Owen and said, hey, Courtney has a wine label she just designed. And he goes, well, I got a wine. I'm like, okay, I got a label. Can we put it together and give back to children's cancer? So I really love how connecting, it's like you connect people too. And with your stories and being an author, we all love to hear the stories. And I love that my story continues on with our community and how lucky I am to have people like Design on Edge and Christian here. And we're in Sparks, Nevada here at the Musicians Rehearsal Center. And we've had many studios over the years, but this is our home right now. So I'm happy to be here. And I know that in 2023, they have some big plans for our set. So look forward to that kind of stuff coming. And also Kim Surratt, Law Practice. Every week, I always give her a huge shout out because seriously, when you have somebody who has been supporting you for 10, 12 years and they saw something in the very beginning, and Trace with Caliber did the same thing. They do my hair, color, and makeup. And I have to say, every time I have an event and I want to support a nonprofit, Trace is right there and he holds raffles for me. So he's a big part of myself as About Town Deb, my team, to give back to the community. Dorinda's Chocolate has been by my side throughout it. And then I have Amber, who's a co-host, Yvonne Murphy, who's been here as a co-host. And everybody adds a little bit of their own sparkle. And I feel like if we all add our sparkle on set or wherever we are in our homes, that we can light up a room. And I feel like this year we've lit up a few rooms and a few not that way lit
We
up.
also got lit this year.
We had Let It Glow in Reno. He's trying to go that way. Let It Glow in Reno. We ended the year with that. So this week, actually, we're going to find out which of the businesses was the winner of who got all the awards. So that is going to, I think, be tomorrow night. This is Wednesday. It'll be Thursday night. So if you're in the Reno area, you'll be able to go to, I think it's the Depot is going to have a party. But right now, I want to go to you right now. Number one, I've already thanked you. But I want to talk a little bit before we get into the holiday stuff. Being an author, you're a storyteller and author.
Yes.
And is there, if you can think of one or a few questions that you would want to ask another successful author about the writing and the process, what would that be? Who would it be out there you want to say, hey, I want to know this?
That's a really interesting question because, as you know, I'm self-published on Amazon.
I know. Yeah.
And I dove into it. I just started writing and I got into a habit and I allow my characters to carry the story. I suppose if I would talk with someone like Stephen King or Dean Koontz, we do the same type of material. I would ask them, how much do you write every day? Do you take days off? Because I don't.
They probably don't either, I bet.
The stories are
part of
too
you.
Strong. Yeah. And that's pretty much the basic mechanics of how they do things because they're so successful. Character development? No. My characters, we've talked about this before, but Charles Dickens said, once you have a story idea, once you have the names, then the characters tell you what to do. And Quentin Tarantino said the same thing about his writing. He said, I create the characters and then I get out of the way.
And let the characters take the story on the road.
Exactly. So that part I'm very comfortable with. And people seem to like my characters and how they move.
But I'm thinking that you have to be, you are an author and a storyteller. That's part of your DNA.
Yes, I would agree. It is.
Because those characters who are inside and want to come out and want to get the story told, they're like nudging, okay, Bill, come on. We got more to tell. We got more stories to tell.
My first story that I wrote was, I think I was in the 5th grade.
Wow.
And I was in Ramona, California, and we all had to write a story. Well, everybody wrote their story, and then mine was kind of an epic. It was like 30 pages long.
In 5th grade?
Yeah. And it was The Sword of Toulouse. It was a fantasy, and the kids liked it, so the teacher every day would read like 2 or 3 pages of it. And that, I think, is where the bug started. So,
well, it started then, but it's already break time again. What the heck? When I'm on set with you, it goes by so fast. So we're going to take our first break and we're going to come back. I want to do a little bit. I have one more question about author writing stuff, that kind of stuff. But I want to go down memory lane, like our memory lane as youngsters, since you mentioned 5th grade. So I'm going to go back to 5th grade with you, okay?
Well, I'll try.
Or maybe 3rd. I don't know. So it's About Town Deb and Bill. We'll be right back.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to City Talk. I'm About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, and I'm honored again. I know he loves to, I love to make him blush. Bill Brown, the one and only Bill Brown. If you're anywhere in the Reno, Carson, Tahoe area and beyond, you might have seen him on the news many, many times. And lately you might have read his books. So he really is a true Reno community member that rocks it, and now you're rocking us with your stories.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we were talking even during break. We always talk during break, and I want him to not talk so he can share it on air. Gets me mad when I'm like, stop, don't talk. Actually, I learned that from Eddie Floyd. I got to give Eddie a shout out because we're talking about how we've got to where we are and different things in the past, and he would always say on break, stop talking, because you can't you can't remake that. So you were talking about 5th grade, and this is the time of year we reminisce. New Year's coming, we're thinking about what we're going to change, what we're going to do, New Year's resolutions, or for me, I tend to want to think about like what's happened in the past and how I've got where I'm at. But you were mentioning fifth grade and we were talking about, writing. My biggest writing in fifth grade was, I will not chew gum in class. I will not chew gum in class. I will not talk in class. So we were saying on social media, I looked at this post and it says, who remembers this? Was it a composition book? We had some kind of book where we did something wrong in elementary school. And I remember going home like, I have to write this 500 times. And you'd write, first you do all the I's, then the wills. Did you ever have to write in a book?
Never.
Were you
had
perfect?
No, I was far from perfect, but I just never got caught.
Oh,
So
man. I had to write, I will not talk in class. I will not chew gum in class, whatever. I mean, think about how it was in elementary school, junior high school back then. Now kids have their phones and they do what they want. They probably have their earbuds in. They probably have music going. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in that, but I could just remember walking to school and we didn't have backpacks and we walked to school with our friends and we'd all start at one house, you pick up the next one. And so shout out to my elementary school friends that were still friends. But a lot of us were in trouble where we had to write in our books all night. So do you remember something from elementary school that really stands out? Or junior high school or high school that we don't do now that was?
I just remember having a great time in school. I always had fun. Now here's one for you.
I want one.
Kindergarten.
Okay.
San Diego, California.
Okay. Yeah.
Got picked on by the bullies.
You did?
I did.
Oh.
So my dad said, you just need some organization.
In kindergarten?
So I got a bunch of kids together, and we at break on the playground we played cavalry.
Oh, what is that? We played dodgeball.
I was the colonel, and 10, 15 guys got in line behind me, riding opposite each other, and we'd go all through the playground. The bullies would be there, and there was 15 of us, so they weren't going to mess with us.
So you took over the bullies, becoming the cavalry.
Well, we just kept them at bay. Bullies only like they like 3 of them and 1 of you, or one very big one of them and 1 of you. But my dad was right. Organized, son.
Well, I can remember, this is in kindergarten, because I started kindergarten halfway through the year. So everybody knows I was adopted, or I am adopted, and Grandma B is still amazing. Thank God. Thank you, Grandma B, for the gift of Terry and Tony. But I remember I hadn't gone to kindergarten until I got to Burbank, and it was halfway through. And the girls that lived in the neighborhood just embraced me, which is really, they could have been bullies. But I was starting out. I hadn't read anything. I was didn't even know how to read. And I remember being in the reading circles and you would, they don't do this now probably, but you'd sit in a reading, a half a reading circle, the teacher would be in the middle and we each have the same book. So everybody had to read a paragraph and you would just go from one to the next to the next. It would get to me and they would read my paragraph. So because I stuttered, I couldn't read and I was very nervous. And so the whole first year of kindergarten, maybe a part of first grade, they kept my secret, or they embraced me. So when I found my first report card a while back and it said, we can't even grade her. She didn't do anything, but they didn't even notice. I was able to be so shy and quiet that it was just but it shows the kindness back then. And I'm sure, I know we have kindness now, but that my friends who are still my friends were there. They're there for me now, and they have always been by my side. And I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to read. And even as an adult, becoming About Town Deb, I still had the stutter, and I would be at a networking thing. And still, when they would have you go to the table and you'd have to introduce yourself, I would have whoever sit next to me. And even as an adult, they would start the intro and then I would be fine. So I've literally been very blessed my whole life that I've had amazing people sitting next to me. So there's a true fact.
Oh, that's extremely cool. If I was to try to find my first report card, I think it was issued about the time that the guy with the gray beard walked down on the mountain carrying the tablets.
Oh, come on.
Do you remember that scene from History of the World?
Yes, I do. But
he's walking down, he's got 3 tablets, and he drops one, and he goes, "Oi!" He says, "I've got these 15. Smash." Oi, I've got these 10 commandments.
Well, yeah.
Funniest part of the movie, actually.
But you see, you remember. It's remembering back. That's what I'm saying. It's what it's about. And do you remember like your first pet?
Oh, yeah.
What was your first pet?
The first pet was a little border collie named Ginger. Oh. She was beautiful. Quick story.
Good.
We're in Kansas. My dad is putting a missile in a silo there.
That is crazy.
And Brad, my brother, and I, and Ginger.
Hello, Brad.
We're walking down the road, and this guy lived up a little bit higher elevation house. And you know how back then their houses were like one every 300 feet or so. He had these 2 boxers, and the boxers came after us. You know, they were
dogs.
Boxer dogs. They came after us, and they were getting ready to nip at our heels. Now, they were big dogs. Ginger had wandered off and was doing a little hunting. All of a sudden, there was this blue or a brown blur. You know, I mean, she was the color of a collie, white, tan. She ripped those dogs to pieces.
No.
Yeah. And he came out, I'm going to sue you, my dogs. I got to do this on the vet and that. Went home and told Dad. Dad went down and said, you're lucky my dog didn't kill those dogs, you know? And he said, if you want to sue. You won't win. And that was, but a little border collie taking on 2 big boxers.
There's always hope. There's strength. Have faith. Be strong out there.
Yeah, really.
So my first pet was Candy Cat, a gray, beautiful gray cat. And again, Grandma B, I'm sharing more stories. When we first met Terry and Tony, we took the bus and we're knocking the door in Ree's place. And we open the door and here's Terry and Tony. And I think there may have been some of the neighborhood kids to welcome because I was meeting them. And there's this beautiful gray cat on the couch. And Papa, at the time, was Tony, wasn't Papa. And he's like, okay, now Candy Cat is not good with strange kids. Do not go over there. What do? Plop on the couch, pick up the cat. Like I didn't even know what a cat was. I honestly didn't even have a cat. It was this big fur ball, a beautiful Candy Cat. And then Papa goes, oh, she's trouble. She's trouble. And then by the end of the visit, when I left, he looked at Nana and he looked at me and he said, what do you think? Do you think you might want to hang out with us? I'm like, yeah. But that was my first pet was Candy Cat. And I will always remember Candy Cat. It was like coming home, you know, and my mom, Brenda, Grandma B she'd come over for all the holidays. So I have a lot of memories of just family coming together to raise a child. So number 1 adoption out there, guys, that's also a beautiful gift for the holidays.
Yeah.
Just to throw that out there.
But it's a commitment. It's not.
It's a commitment. They have their hands full with me.
But if you adopt, you're getting a family member for life. Yeah. Because they're going to love you forever.
Yeah. So, but no, that was my first pet was a cat. And
cool.
Since I've had dogs and stuff like that, and I don't think I've ever had a bird, but.
I did.
Oh.
Parakeet. His name was Elmer. It was a girl.
Elmer?
Girl.
Did Elmer talk?
Oh, Elmer would.
No, but was it a talking like, hello, Bill?
No, it was a little tiny parakeet.
Oh, the parrot, like the ones in the little cages.
Yeah.
The cute little ones with all the pretty colors.
These little noises. Now, it was actually my dad's bird, but Elmer, the girl, parakeet, funny name for a girl, I know. I would take her out of the cage and she'd hop on my shoulder.
I know.
And she'd sit there and she would just groom me and she would ride on my head and she wouldn't do any of this for my dad.
Because she liked you.
Yeah, she adopted me.
She adopted you. I totally like that. So I'm gonna go back to libraries and books and reading since you are an author for the last part of this segment. Do you remember having a library card?
Many, many years ago.
Me too. I still have it, by the way.
Good for you.
I'm going to have to take a photo and post it. I do have it. And that some of my best memories was going to the library with friends and doing that. And so do you have a memory in the library? Were you ever like smooching in the library?
You're close. The only reason, downtown Reno, of course, has a beautiful library. And The only reason I'd go to the library was to check out the girls.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because our parents thought we were safe going to the library.
And now some of my books are in a library. So
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back, and I want to get your opinion on audiobooks.
Okay.
And then we're going to go into some New Year's questions and quotes and that kind of fun. So stay tuned. It's About Town Deb and Bill. Deb and Bill. Bill and Deb.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
You know that's what she said. Come on, let's have some fun with About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back. It's our third segment, I think. And we were talking about libraries. And I haven't been inside a library except when I vote. When I go to vote, it's usually in a library.
Right.
That's the only time I've been in a library. But I really do have so many memories of being at the library. And that back when they had like these little drawers you pulled out. And I think I used to volunteer at the library, and I would put books back, and you really had to know, like, you know, your alphabet and the numbers, everything had to be put back. And you think how it was then, like, I mean, the books, and you would sit in your house or you sit in a library, and you would just read and read and read. And your assignments, you had to, like, when you did reports, you would say what books and, you know, where you got them. And it was just, I kind of miss that. But now with technology, there's audio books, which is good because we're still reading and we're getting to share your stories and all the other authors. But what do you feel about audiobooks? Do you listen to them? Are you just, tell me about that.
I don't have the time to listen to them. I'm writing 3 hours a day, sometimes 4. I bought all the gear to record my own audio for audiobooks, and I never have time to get to it, which is a good thing.
No, because you're continuing to put out good content and stories.
Thank you. But I need to go out there and find a voice and have them start doing it. And the way they do that is they take a percentage of everything.
So are you talking male, female? Are there different voices because you have character? How does that work? How would you do that?
Well, I think Blood Mountain would be the one that we would start with. And that pretty much demands a male's voice.
That deep voice.
Yeah, got to get
scary
down there.
stuff. Yeah.
So, speaking of books, by the way, you don't have this one, do you?
I don't.
Okay. Well, this is going to be
usually your Christmas party. He gives one. Just saying.
And she got there late, and it got busy, and then the snow was horrible, and you got out
over
of there.
the hill to come see you.
You got a pen?
I do. I'm excited.
Okay, you go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying that it's really just the idea is actually using a pen to write in a book instead of texting. It just, I don't know. I'm just lately, it's really, thank you.
This is Lightning. This is begins with a UNR professor who is down and out and thinks his wife has left him. She's actually been kidnapped, but he doesn't know that. Oh. So he's just, the world is awful. His friends take him up Dog Valley Way.
Oh, isn't that like it's dangerous there in the wintertime?
Well, but this takes place in the summer.
Okay.
So there's one lone cloud in the middle of the field, and he's feeling sorry for himself, and he walks out underneath it, and boom, he gets hit by lightning.
Ooh.
So his friends start to rush out to him, and he goes, no, I'm okay.
Okay.
It's kind of smoldering.
But how can you be okay when lightning hits you?
Boom, he gets hit again. And he goes, I'm not okay.
I'm not okay.
So there's more humor in this. But the lightning happened for a reason. And when he's given great insight, and for instance, if he touches you, he knows your past, he knows your present, and he knows part of your future.
Ooh.
So he's been given a gift. All right. And later on in the book, he meets the people who gave him the gift.
Ooh.
And they're from upstairs. And he goes with his friends to fight a great evil that is threatening to consume the world. Now, the follow-up to this is the one I just finished called Deathwell, which is the sequel, which is a lot longer than this one. But anyway, get started with that one.
Okay, I got to thank you, but I'm kind of feeling creepy. It's like, what happens if you have that power? It's weird. No, but it amazes me, Bill, and all the other authors out there, guys. Keep sharing your stories because you do have a gift. You have this gift of storytelling, and those stories just come out of your soul. And wow,
this began because I was working on another story one morning, and in the background I had the TV on, and it was tuned into one of the information channels, and they were talking about a person who'd been hit by lightning.
Oh.
And I was wondering, what is my next book? And I heard this, I was hit by lightning and I am a different person. And I went, boom, there it is. That's where it came from.
What's the word? Is kismet? What does kismet mean?
Kismet?
Kismet. What does that mean? You're the word person.
That's a word I've never used.
We have to Google it and see. No, but does it mean like it just happens? Like things happen?
It was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen. I think that's kind of what it means.
That.
But also going with that, like sometimes now when I leave here, my phone's going to show me all kind of lightning stories and kismet stuff. And I'm going to get, what is kismet? So it's crazy how that works, but that's the technology of the future. But I really don't ever want to forget the past. And that's why going into the new year, thinking about how you got started and we were looking on my phone and there's those little coin pouches.
Yeah.
I know if you're listening, you can't see us, but you used to pop them open and close and put your coins in them. And
You'd squeeze them.
And they would open up, but all these little and cassettes and 45 record players and CDs.
Yeah, but who uses coins anymore? You know what I mean?
I know I get them and they're at the bottom of my purse and I put them in a thing and I just take them and donate them.
I don't know about you, but I actually don't carry cash anymore.
I very seldom carry cash.
Yeah.
If I'm going to the airport, I carry cash because I want to tip I like to go with the.
You carry it where you need it.
Right. If I know I'm going to be tipping, I have cash, but I don't really carry cash either. No. And there's all these new ways on your phone where you can like hit the tap pay or do this. And actually, before we talk about New Year's, another cool thing. So Debbie, I went to Vegas this last week, and Debbie Smith is an amazing journalist, writer in Vegas. And she picked me up to take me to the airport and have coffee and chat. And she was, I'm going to stop at the 76 station to get gas, or 86 or it was one of those stations. And she pulled over and she goes, I just use I have an app. I pay with the app. And I get 25 cents off a gallon. I'm like, you pay with the app?
Oh, I've heard of those.
It's 25 cents off a gallon and she gets goodies. So she sent me the app. So she is trying to get About Town Deb. I know nothing. I need to learn so much more next year. I had no idea. There was apps where you get discounts.
Yeah.
Like on her phone. She hasn't even put a card in.
Yeah, I know.
There's no card
it's like
even.
Apple Pay. You're at the store. All you do is just hold your phone up next to the tab.
I just do the tap thing, but I don't know. It's crazy. I'm feeling like, I don't know, I'm this new world is kind of, I'm
technology is moving so fast.
It is. It's way too fast.
In the new book I'm writing now, of course, which is called The Ship.
The Ship.
And it begins as a ghost story and then it evolves into a point to where climate change is happening around the world.
No, that's true. That is very true.
It is happening at such an accelerated rate that the world is in worse trouble than it thought it would be.
Yeah.
And one of the principal characters in there is a computer named Ridgely.
Is this for real or is this a book?
This
is your book.
The name, this.
See, I can't tell it. He's so real.
But the computer that Ridgely's based on is real.
Okay.
So it is the newest supercomputer. It's at down in California.
It's real. Like, is this your story?
It is real.
Okay.
And it processes, I think it was 5 quintillion pieces of information every second.
Dang.
All right. So it is as close to a human mind as you can possibly get.
That's scary. That's so scary.
So the story becomes him and the people from NOAA who are trying to help slow climate change and the other characters that are involved. And it's every time I sit down, it takes a different twist and goes someplace.
See, I really feel like he's telling like something that's really happening right now. It's very scary.
Well, that
I don't
computer
know.
isn't.
I know, but I'm saying when I start talking to you, you freak me out.
All you got to do is look at all the stories that are happening about the storms getting worse.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at what's happening, or it did happen on the East Coast right around Christmas, and Midwestern United States, where it got so cold that they were warning people, do not go outside. You will have instant frostbite.
Whoa.
Okay.
I think I've been in my happy bubble too long.
Yeah, the storms are getting worse everywhere.
Okay, let's have some. Let's have some New Year's. We have a few minutes left. I'm going to try to stump you here. Then you could try to stump me.
All right.
Okay. Oh, this is good. Which festival is held in Antarctica to celebrate New Year's?
That's appropriate.
I know.
I think it's the International Freeze Your Butt Off Festival.
Actually, it is. No, it is the annual New Year's Music Festival, also known as Ice Stock.
Ice Stock.
Okay, you give me one. Pick one of those.
Oh, yes.
It's your turn. And then I'm going to give you one.
Good evening. This is the news.
Okay.
All right. True or false? The earliest recorded New Year's festivities date back 4,000 years to ancient Babylon. Is that true?
I think it's false.
It's true. However, the Babylonians celebrated the new year in the spring with the feast of Akitu.
Akitu. I'm glad you took that. I wouldn't be able to pronounce that.
He's
one.
an old friend of mine. I know.
Oh, of course he knows him. Okay, here we go. Now this is kind of a grape one. Mm-hmm. Grape one. True or false? In some parts of the world, people eat exactly 12 grapes at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve.
I would say true.
Of course, he's right. It is true. It's a tradition in Spain to eat one grape for each month of the new year to bring good luck. So,
and then have a bottle of Madeira, right?
And then have a bottle. No, About Town Dad, red wine by Crystal
Yes.
Basin. So we're almost out of time. So we're each going to do a quick wish you happy New Year. So I again we have a few more seconds. One more second. Forget this. We have a whole nother segment. So I'm really happy.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Okay, we're keeping it real with Deb and Bill. Be right back.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
Ready to help from her toes to her head. Just give her a shout. Call About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back. I thought we were almost done, but apparently we're not. Thank goodness for that. So if you're listening or if you're watching live, you can see us, but Christian's holding up his finger. I'm looking at the clock and it's saying 32 seconds, and I'm trying to hurry. He's holding up. I'm like, what? I have 1 minute? He goes, no, you have one whole segment. Yeah. I was because it was your fault.
Even I knew
it was that. No, it was your fault.
Why?
Because when Bill's on set, he just tells these stories, and I'm like, I really felt like, oh my gosh, we might have to go back to a little bit of seriousness, even though the whole thing, it's I can't even talk right now because Bill brings a lot of the future with your stories and some of the past, but you take something real, something that's really happening or a real character, and then you write around it. So when you were talking about the weather and the big computer and now like what's happening and 2023, I know in the very, very beginning of the show, you were saying, oh my gosh, there's so much that's going to happen next year. And lots of good things that have happened as well this year. But is there something that's really got your goat? Does that make sense? Like got you like thinking besides the weather or the earth, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you the mic for this one.
Well, I was doing research for the ship and I was trying to find out just how deeply impacted the earth would be if all of these climate changes accelerate from 50 years down to 5. So I looked at all of the research papers that are, I research all of my books.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah, I looked at all the research papers and the devastation and what will happen. And I won't give you the figures on the decreasing population. However, the term mass extinction event shows up in the book a few times.
In your book?
In the book.
Okay.
That's it. So this next year, I think, is going to be very exciting. Speaking as a journalist now who was a political reporter for so long, the midterm elections, I think, turned everything upside down. And so the two parties are going to have to figure out what they're doing. But I think the most important thing that happened out of there, and it doesn't get my goat, it makes me happy.
I like that. Happy's good.
Is that the electorate said, get your act together, okay? We're tired of all this bickering. We're going to give you the House. We're going to give you the Senate. You work it out, or 2 years from now, you're all going to go. That's what they're saying.
I like it.
Yeah. And I see that as a really positive development. So if they can actually talk issues, I know one party wants to talk issues, the other party wants to do investigations. If they can not do the investigations and or do some of them, but talk issues, this is going to be a really productive year for people. If not, it's not going to be a good year at all.
Well, we want the positive to happen.
Yes, we do.
And I think it's important going into the new year, I'm going to try to be even better about this, is to listen. Hearing you talk about the sides and that, I feel like no matter where you're at in your life, what day, I think you need to like say, okay, I really need to listen to the person in front of me. I really need to listen to each side of what I'm reading, like read it, but then like really percolate on it. And I'm usually so busy being about town that I don't really have a lot of time to even watch the news. But I feel like I need to take the time to at least watch a little bit of it and learn what's happening around me, because I'm really happy being in my happy bubble. Mm-hmm. That's where I go all the time. But I'm really realizing that this year coming, I need to be out of my happy bubble every now and then.
Yeah. And when I was a news director and then as a senior anchor, the younger reporters would come to me and they'd say, what is one of the most important skills I can develop? And I would say the first one that you need is the ability to listen, because that's your job. You cannot get the facts on a story if you're not listening to the information that's coming in. If you've already plotted your story and you're planning your stand-up, you're no good. You're gone. You have to listen, and that dictates where you go. So you're a journalist.
Oh, I'm trying to be. I'm learning.
Yeah.
So let's go back in time. You as a journalist and all your fellow journalists, when you're listening to the story, how are you? I mean, now we have recorders. What did you do? Like, did you write notes? Did you do shorthand? What you really you wrote?
There were 2 interviews. There was the pre-interview, and you had the old reporter's notebook. So it was about this long, and it had the ring binder up on top. You'd flip it open, and you'd ask a series of questions, and then you'd say to the person, okay, let's go on camera, and let's talk about what you just told me. Because what they just told you is where you're going to go. That's where the story's going to go. But now you need them on camera. And the fact that you do the pre-interview worked to get rid of their nervousness.
Right. No, that's true.
You know, you took time. You listened to them. You made your notes. You asked intelligent questions. And then you said, okay, let's just get on camera and talk
have a
about
conversation.
This. Yeah, that's
just have
it.
we're having a conversation. It's you and me. We're having, and no, that totally makes sense. I do that as well. With you, I don't have. We just come on and chat. It's okay. But no, I do like that. But I also like to be more impromptu and just on the sly or whatever that word would be. Because for me, I remember another secret going back in time. I had to take a speech class in junior high school. We had to take speech. It was like a mandatory thing. And I, Miss Stutter Girl, I would get up there. They'd put it on a podium and I literally would just pass out. Like I've shared, like pass out, and they would put smelling salt like under my nose.
Really?
Yes. And I would be like, can I go home now? And I would just be so embarrassed. And so the one teacher saw something in me and she said, you know, you don't have to read anything. Like, you know, you can write your speech, but I want you to get up there, and you had mentioned this. I want you to just be you. Share your heart. So I was never reading from a script, and she knew that, but she didn't count it against me, where everybody else had to memorize and read on a script. She knew for me just to get up there and not pass out was an accomplishment, but she assigned me to when we'd go on these speech debates or whatever you call them. I would be the one up there where I would pick a word out of impromptu, right? I would pick a word like say lightning, and I would talk about it.
Right.
Because nobody knew whether what I was saying was what I planned. And so she found a way to help me succeed.
That's a teacher.
That is a teacher. So I was just in awe, because now look at me. I mean, people wouldn't even know me chatting away right now. Even years ago, I couldn't do this. So, but I think, again, let's start the new year out with being positive and surrounding yourself with people. So take a look at who's around you this coming year. Like, who do you want to be in your circle? Who's going to surround you, and find those people who hold you up.
Well, yeah, exactly. Anybody who is running you down, anybody who is criticizing you, and I'm a firm believer in this, anybody who tries to belittle you is, in fact, in reality, only looking at their own insecurities. They're talking about themselves. They're not talking about you. And the point is, you need to move beyond that. You need to accept what they're saying as, okay, thank you, see you later. And you move on to a positive place, a positive person. You let them wither away in their own darkness. So don't let their criticisms get to you. You're good. You know you're good. You know what you can do, and find people that appreciate you.
I think it's really important. Thank you. It really is. And I know that we've all in the past had somebody tell us, you can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Or I can't do that. And I've said, like, I'm a pretend photographer. I'm a pretend this, and I'm going to do this. But I always say that because I feel like if I say I'm not really it, then I can't fail because I've said I'm not it. But there comes a point where you have to just say, I am this.
Right.
I have a podcast. I'm sitting here with Bill Brown. I can do this, and you can do this. So really, for going into next year, I think number one, be kind to yourself.
Oh,
you know, we don't have to fix everything in January. We don't have to lose 10 pounds January 15th. What you need to do is take those moments to find the positiveness and the goodness that you have, and find your strengths. Like the teacher who said, you're my impromptu speech girl. You never have to read from a script. And doing this podcast, I have all these notes, but I speak from my heart at the end of the day. So speak from your heart, follow your heart. And when you have an intuition that says to you, follow your intuition.
If you don't like yourself, nobody else is going to like you.
Right.
So get to know yourself.
Yeah. And the intuition, have you had times where your intuition said, don't do that, and you've done it?
Yes.
And what happens?
Well, there are mixed results.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time, it doesn't end well.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, going into the new year, I wish for you and I pray for you to have the strength to follow your heart, listen to your intuition, surround yourself with amazing people. And I think Bill has something, but I'm going to say this, I haven't got a quote in, so let me get it in. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. Andy Warhol. Now your turn before we still.
Are we going to...
Go ahead. Let's do it.
All right. Let me find a good one here.
Okay.
And,
Okay, he's on it. Let's see.
Yeah. In what?
Well, here we go. Okay.
In what country is it considered good luck to wear red underwear on New Year's Eve?
Spain.
Italy.
Because it's Italian, it's red grapes? I don't
Or pasta sauce. I mean,
I don't know. Why? Did it tell
It's
why?
also a tradition to throw old kitchenware out the window.
Okay.
That one I can get in.
I can get into that. Okay, here's a quick one. True or false? Kissing at midnight is a modern tradition.
I would say true.
False.
False.
According to the Washington Post, smooching someone to celebrate the new year is a tradition borrowed from English to German folklore. Deb talk. So one more, because we only have a few seconds, and we want to say we're just going to wish you an amazing happy new year.
Absolutely.
And I am honored to have you ending my year, Mr. Bill Brown, and I hope to have
Honored
you
to be here.
on many more times. And happy new year, blessings, be humble, be kind, and know that we are here for you.
Go out and get it done.
Get it done. Remember, together we're one heart.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.